Welcome to the Mindfood Club, an intellectual space in China for personal and professional development. We ask influential leaders, CEOs, consuls, and directors about their career experiences and life lessons. Welcome. Fine. Just kidding. Good morning, everyone. Today we are having a coffee with Mr. Norbert Marx. He's the CEO of GAMECO, Guangzhou Aircraft Maintenance Engineering Company. Good morning, Norbert.
You said that well, Owen. A pleasure to have you here.
Thanks a lot for receiving us. How is everything going? How many tests did you do this week?
I just did one an hour ago. So we do, the whole company is tested every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. And
3 times per week.
3 times per week, and sometimes even more often, depending how the risk profile is just going.
Okay. Depending on the situation in Guangzhou.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. But right now we are on 3 times a week, and this we have since summer last year.
The whole company has to do the test.
Whole company, every employee.
6,700 people have to do the test every Monday morning.
Exactly. So that's a lot of people, 6,700 people, everybody goes for a test.
Yeah, so they need to have like a 48-hour code?
Yeah, I have the 48-hour sticker basically all the time.
Yeah.
Only Monday morning I have a 72-hour, and then, I have to go for the test first thing.
That's good, that's good. Yeah. Well, Norbert, so how did you end up here? Like one day you are at home in Germany, you receive a call, how did it happen?
Actually, I got the call in Vancouver. I was working for Canadian Helicopters.
Okay.
Yeah, and a beautiful city. And it's not just, I think, one call. Yeah. That's only the last step in a series of decisions. And what brought me here maybe is 3+1 decisions. The first one I would say is I moved into aerospace engineering. That was a choice I made very early, after I finished school, to study that. The second thing was that during my employment with Lufthansa, I already had an assignment in Beijing.
Okay.
So from 1994 to 2000, I was delegated from Lufthansa also to a maintenance base of Air China in Beijing at that time. And so I had already some experience and also a network here in China. So some people knew me. Okay. I think that was a big factor. The third factor was that at one point in my career, I left the big company Lufthansa, which is a great company, and they gave me many opportunities.
Yeah. How many years were you there?
18 years.
18 years.
18 years, yeah. So, but it gave me more control over my own destiny.
Yeah.
So if you change the companies you're on the market, you see the opportunities coming up. Maybe they would not have asked me if I was still with Lufthansa or so. Yeah. Because then it's normally they don't look at you as available for such a change. So these are the 3 decisions I would say were really key. And then the +1 is the decision to marry my wife. Because you need a partner who is willing to move around in the world and who is willing to go to China with you. And we both love China, and she was excited about it. Although she liked also Vancouver a lot, but I think that's also very important. So the call was the final step.
Okay. And then you were on board, and how many challenges did you find in the beginning, or the most difficult one?
You find a lot of challenges. It's a huge company, and you are acting on so many fields.
Yeah.
I think maybe the biggest challenge is in this position, we are a 50-50 joint venture, and one shareholder, China Southern, is a state-owned enterprise, and the other shareholder, Hutchison Whampoa, is a financial investor from Hong Kong. So you have 2 50% shareholder, which is always an interesting combination, and then they're also coming from different perspectives. Financial investor versus a state-owned enterprise. So to work in this environment, to work in the Chinese business environment, to work with a state-owned enterprise, and they have their own decision-making processes. I think that is something that is very different. That we don't have normally in our agenda. So that is a challenge to master that. Besides the difficult language, of course. And also if we look at our customers, so we have a lot of international customers. China Southern is our #1 customer in terms of size and input. Our number 2 customer is FedEx. So it's our second biggest customer.
Which is here as well?
Yeah, they have the distribution center. I can see it from my office.
Okay.
So this is what Memphis is in the US, Guangzhou is for Asia. And so they are a very process-driven company. You know, the world on time is written on every aircraft.
Yeah.
And you have a very detailed process. So it's very different from a relationship-driven company like China Southern. And I don't want to say this is better than that. It's just different, you know, and to satisfy and fulfill the expectations from both customers, I think you have to understand and to be able to work both systems.
Yeah, definitely, like globalized world, like right now. You've been a CEO for more than 20 years in the US, in Europe, in Asia. What makes it different to work in this market compared to the other ones?
Yeah, I was in the US for good 5 years, and I was also in Switzerland in the same position, GM or CEO. And the business environment is different. So in the US, it's much more bottom line driven, you know, quarterly results. The mentality of hiring and firing is very normal there. And here, especially with a state-owned partner, it is very difficult. So I think the approach to the business is just different. Also the horizon in which you do your planning. So of course we break down things from a 5-year plan that we also align with the government 5-year plan and with China Southern 5-year plan. We have our own strategic long-term plan, and then we have, you know, a decoding of these plans, so to break it down in manageable projects that actually help you to achieve your goals. Which is a long-term approach and a very strategic approach. And as I said, in the US, it's everybody is very business-minded, very business-driven, and decisions are made faster. And I think it's a different challenge.
How do you see this industry in the next couple of years in the aviation?
Aviation is a great industry. It's never boring. But if you want to be rich, it's also not a good industry. So aviation, I think the underlying trend is people want to travel, people want to meet each other, globalization, exchange between Asia, Europe, the US, the Americas, Latin America, and all that. This is a desire people really want. Even we do a lot of things online. It's not the same. So this underlying trend, I think, is there. But the future, I always saw 3 big risks. And one risk, the pandemic we are experiencing right now, and it has a very severe impact on aviation. And the other 2 risks, one is the climate development. So with you have your footprints, CO2 footprint that you need to control. So aviation need to find solutions to control emissions more, especially if they grow, especially in the altitudes where the emission is happening. So there are a lot of efforts, but it is much more difficult to establish, or to reduce emissions for a flying object than it is for an object which is land-based or water-based or something like that. So I think the climate control will have an impact on the future development. And the third item that I always worry about is acts of terror or like acts of war. Right now, the Ukraine and Russia is you cannot fly over these areas, so a lot of flights are cancelled or rerouted. So that, but acts of terror, I think, would even be a bigger impact if people are afraid to go into a plane, and I hope that will not happen.
Let's hope it doesn't happen. How about the third hangar? You guys just started like a couple of months ago. Was it because based on all the workload, or was it influenced by the COVID?
The exciting part, I'm here since 11 years, and we had really a golden decade, a lot of growth. So a lot of aircraft on order that we can see for China Southern, but also here in China.
Yeah.
If you see the number of aircraft per capita, per person, so this is still way lower than, for example, in West Europe or in the US. If you see that more than 40 airports are under construction, you know that more aircraft will come here, so the business will grow. And we are specialized on wide body, on big aircraft like this 380. So we need more hangar space. And we took our phase 2 hangar in operation in 2014, and then 2017 we made already the decision to build the next hangar, phase 3, which is massive. It's a super size 1 million square foot hangar.
1 million square foot.
1 million square foot hangar. This is only the construction. This is not the apron, This is the hangar hall. These are the offices, the material warehouses, and the back shops, and everything that you need to operate it. State of the art. And we took it in operation. The inauguration was end of December. And we put the first aircraft in after Chinese New Year. Because you need a lot of approvals from the authorities, from the CAC, from FAA, and of course also from government, labor office, and so on.
I mean, not every day we can get to sit down here and talk about this. Is there something about the industry or about flying that people usually don't know? Blow my mind with
we are on the maintenance side. We are not the cool guys in the cockpit. We are the greasy guys repairing it. But I think what I love about the aircraft maintenance industry is on one side, of course, you maintain this machine, which is a beautiful machine, I think, and it's a complex machine. It's like a pinnacle of human development, I think, from a technology point of view, are the aircraft. So it's high tech, it's very interesting. The second thing is it's international. So the manufacturers, the suppliers, the customers, the airline, everybody is thinking global. And our customers, they can come from everywhere. So if you go into our hangar, we have aircraft in the hangar from the Philippines, from Germany, from the US, from everywhere in the world. But that means also we are competing with everybody in the world, because they don't have to fly to Guangzhou. They can fly to Jakarta, or they can fly to Seoul, or to Hamburg. So you are competing also worldwide. So it's high tech, it's international. Then it's labor intensive. So you will not see many robots or so in an aircraft. Only a few. It's really hand labor today still, and teamwork, because you need so many experts for different areas. Avionics, structure, system mechanics. Everybody is an expert, and you have to work together as a team. So it's labor intensive as well. And the last point, it's also highly regulated. So you have a lot of authorities that need to give you an approval so you can work on an aircraft. You need maintenance approval, you need a design approval, a manufacturing, a training approval. So we have a lot of audits, which is not always nice, but it's also keeps you on your toes. So and makes the system a learning system, basically. So I think these are the main categories. The high tech, the teamwork, the international aspect, and also the regulatory aspect.
And more from the practical perspective, let's say some of my friends are scared of flying, because they always say, what if there is a storm? Well, if there is thunders? Do the aircraft usually get the thunders? You have lightning strikes. I don't want to scare anyone listening to us, but it really happens, right?
You have lightning strike, but it's like a Faraday cage. So the electrical load, enters and leaves through the atmosphere.
You don't feel it.
Normally, you don't feel it. And normally you can find a lightning strike, maybe is a little tiny hole or so, you can find it. And it's easy to repair. So you can see aircraft with dozens of these lightning strikes, and they're still safe to fly. They're built for that.
Good to hear that.
No, flying is one of the safest way of transportation. And I think if you look at the numbers, of passengers on one side and which distance they are flying, how many kilometers. And on the other side, every accident is one accident too much, but it's really a very safe way of transportation.
Yeah. If you were not in this industry, aviation, which I know you love passionately, what would you be? Would you be, I don't know, doctor, lawyer?
My father was engineer, but for power plants. And my mother, she comes from a family of lawyers and judges. Everybody was in law. So originally the expectation of my parents was I would decide between one of the two.
Yeah.
But my brother, he is a psychoanalyst. And we have a lot of discussions, and I think that is also a very interesting field. Yeah, psychoanalyst, especially in today's world, it's getting more and more important.
Would you consider, becoming a psychologist after?
In my next life?
Yeah, maybe after you retire, I don't know. Is that possible? Yes. Yeah.
It is possible, but I think to really become a good psychoanalyst, you have to know yourself very much and how your own psychology is determining what you see in people. And I think you have to go through a long learning and study process. So if I will retire, I have different plans. I will chase other dreams than becoming that.
Can you share with us? Nobody's listening.
Nobody listening. Yeah. Chasing the dream, it's not that I have a written plan what I want to do when, but I think inside your heart sometimes tells you what is important for you, what you like in life, what is meaningful, where you can maybe add something from to the community, to the society, or just to other people, if this is what you want. So I have to find these points. I don't have them ready. So I will spend time with myself, making long walks, maybe over days, or how long it takes.
El Camino de Santiago in España.
Maybe El Camino de Santiago can be. Or maybe I start with Hadrian's Wall. This is not that long. It's only a 5 or 6 day walk. Maybe I invite some friends to go together and then have a good soul-searching walk to talk. And then I will find out what I want. But I'm sure I will, I have a lot of things I want to do. I always wanted to drive with the boat through the canals of France, or through the intercoastal waterway in the US. I like to ride a motorbike, maybe also in the US, things like that.
Do you have many things on your to-do list for the next couple of years? Do you have any?
I have a couple of things on my to-do list. And 2 or 3 I told you already. First is I want to improve my Spanish.
Pero ya es muy bueno, no te falta.
So I want to go to Cuernavaca and be there for like maybe a couple of months. And really practice it. Not the grammar side, more the conversational side. And also travel more in Mexico. My wife and I, we have moved 13 times in our life, but I never lived in Mexico. I lived in the US, I lived in Canada. I traveled a lot of time in Mexico because my wife is from there and we have family there, but I never lived there for a longer time. So I really want to go to Oaxaca, to Chiapas, travel the south, very smooth, maybe stay some time in a city like Merida. But also other cities, like I've been a couple of times to Rome, but always for business. And then maybe you can add 1 or 2 days, but I really would like to take a bed and breakfast and maybe stay 3 months there and walk the ways and follow certain historic figures and developments there.
As someone who travels so much, who has so many passions, hobbies, who speaks languages, nowadays a lot of youngsters in China, we have this concept that we're super busy with work, we don't really have a balance. What would you tell them?
I think some people, they are existing more in the metaverse than in the real world already. And to find this balance, I think it was always important, but maybe it's more difficult in these days today.
Yeah.
So what I know we talked about it a little bit earlier or before. Yeah. So the balance, the job is important, but if you focus only on your job, then you lose your balance. Mm-hmm. You have also to. It's also important to stay healthy. Yeah. To exercise. It's important to have your family, your social contacts, warm and good. Yeah. And the other thing is the spiritual. Yeah. You have to think about your purpose in life. What is meaningful for you. Whether it's a religious approach or another spiritual way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we are not here just to work, write apps or
pay bills.
Yeah, pay bills or something.
And then bye-bye.
Yeah.
So So people should spend more time trying to look for it.
And if you focus too much on one of these, then I think this balance is not there, and you will feel it. And you will have some disadvantages. And this is sometimes if you're an expat, you're away. For some people that is also a problem if they don't have their friends and their family close. But on the other side, you also meet a lot of people. Yeah, these expat communities are normally very open, and you have the chance to meet new colleagues and to meet new friends in a different country. Yeah. So you have to know yourself a little bit what type of person you are.